Hi, Misha here, and we're kind of wrapping up our review of the SAM5. Didn't mean for that one to be a two-parter, but kind of ran out of time. And likewise, last time we were out, really ran out of time reviewing this gun, the SAM7SFC. We did get to put some rounds through it, but not as many as I wanted, and also we didn't get a chance to let Fox take it for a spin. So this time we're gonna correct that. Also, I have made a few small, but to me, important changes to this gun. Some just make me happy. Some I do think are quality of life improvements. And of course, chambered for 7.62/39, which is not as easy to get today as it once was. So if you'd like to help support us, get more ammo, and keep on going, check out the link to Patreon. If you can't do that, that's perfectly cool. January is tight for all of us. Liking, sharing, and subscribing, looking at older videos, those things help immensely as well. And there's also super thanks, or whatever YouTube calls it, you can do as a one-time thing on videos. Now, last time we reviewed this, we had no reliability issues, nothing like that. But let's continue to put a few rounds through it, see how it does. Alright, let's go for the SFC now. Nice trigger on this. And smoother safety. There's just something about a machined receiver. Now, one thing I'm not 100% sure on is this more modern, kind of straighter, still has a little curve to it, but single hook trigger. I could see myself maybe putting an old-fashioned double hook back in, but it's a pretty good trigger, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you can tell it's out of the custom shop. In fact, the bolt throw is smooth. Everything's pretty good on this, I think. Then again, I kind of have a military standard to my mind. So with that, let me show you some of the mods and changes and updates I made. And let's get closer, because I know the light's not good out here. This is the sunniest day we've had in a week, so whatever. But we'll go to the table and check out some of the things I've done, and really got this gun where I'm getting real happy with it. Although I still have a question about bobbing the barrel. When we left off last time with the SFC, I put a sling on it. But it's kind of the sling I had to hand. I decided to put one of the paratrooper style, the QD slings. Essentially, it's an enlarged version of an AKSU sling on here. Arsenal actually used to ship these with some of their guns, especially like their underfolders, and it just kind of seems appropriate for this type. Of course, a sling is an easy thing to take on and off. Something that is easier to change than you might suspect is the rear sight. Again, last time I pointed out it had the standard rear sight, and if you're going to do this correctly, it should have the 500 meter, and I just happen to have one. So these are very easy to put on and off. Not a big deal. And it's even a Arsenal Bulgarian one. And I just think that adds a little bit of legitimacy, and since I had the part, why not? Another small thing I changed, but it's a part I just happen to have, is the cleaning rod. The half that comes out of like the SAM7SF and others is too long to go under here. There's Peanut. She has to make appearances occasionally, right, girl? But I discovered the little cleaning rod that ships with the SAM7K pistol is exactly the right length. I mean, it went in there with zero front back play. So, cool. Small detail, but I figured having a Bulgarian cleaning rod in here versus a Zastava, I don't know, just seemed a little more appropriate. Why not? What do you think, Peanut? Are you giving the gun your stamp of approval? Anyway, and another thing I changed, and probably the most notable, is the barrel cover, as it were. Started off last time with a CNC Warrior extended Bulgarian 4-piece, and it's a very high quality device, but it also is heavy. It is steel. Even with the liner taken out, the outer body is pretty thick and chunky, because it's also meant to function as a real flash hider. So, what I did instead is put on a fake conical extended flash hider, and this is actually Arsenal Bulgarian branded, to cattail not included, and it's made out of an aluminum alloy. And in case you're wondering, yes, she only became interested once I started recording. So it gives a nice appropriate look for this type of gun, covers your barrel, but most importantly, it doesn't add any noticeable weight. So this came from them. It does have a glossy finish on it, like a lot of their US stuff. I kind of wish it had more of a paint, but then again, it's alloy, not steel. But I think I like it. I don't know if it'll be the permanent thing, how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to rock it this way for a little bit and shoot it a bit. But otherwise, yeah, the ARM9 furniture we added last time. And I did tighten up this top cover a bit. Actually, I had a top cover off a different Arsenal that fit perfect on this, even nice and tight. But since it's a serial match deal, I ended up just modifying the one it came with by crimping it in a bit. And now it's nice and tight, but not too tight. What can you do? And now Peanuts jumped off, so that means we can get back to the main features. Yeah, turning the safety off is a little more awkward than on with this Galil style. Helps if I do charge it. Here on the swing. Stock works well. Folds up good. Press the button, it springs out. Locks in quite good. Nice and firm. This really is a well-balanced gun. And I think that helps it not feel as heavy as it is. It's not exactly a heavy guy, but it is a machine receiver and all that with a metal stock. But when you have a well-balanced gun, weight doesn't seem as noticeable. I would point out the CZ805 brand as an example of this. Now, as I mentioned in the first video, this is a semi-automatic version, the SAM7SFC, of their ARM12F, one of their multiple military selections. And those are kind of intended for tankers and urban fighters. It's not the shortest they make. That'd be like the ARM4SF, which is based on the Krink, the AKSU. But it doesn't have the 16-inch barrel like the ARM1 or ARM9. And they have that combination front sight gas block, your gas ports here, and then you just have your front sight. And that allows for 24 millimeter threads and a barrel that's just over 12.5 inches, which is just enough length to stabilize 7.6239 real good, and to do a decent job with the 1-in-7 twist. You almost get 2 full rotations in 5.56. And they do offer this in both calibers. They do not offer it on the Arsenal website in 5.45, for what it's worth. But it is able to have a standard length gas tube, standard length gas piston, takes standard hand guards, standard recoil spring, has standard top cover, all that good stuff. Of course, as we mentioned a minute ago, it does have a shorter range rear sight, which makes sense because of the shorter sight radius and the shorter barrel. And typically, it would either have a 4-piece Bulgarian flash hider, or this kind of conical style from the AK 102, 104, 105. This, though, is a little cover, as I mentioned. And I'm not sure. Now, on my older SLR 106CR, I did chop the barrel down and permanently attach a CNC Warrior extended 4-piece. I'm just not sure about doing it on this one. For one, it's so light and handy as is with this cover, it looks okay. And for another, even though I have no plans to sell it, it is only one of 200 sometimes when you go to SBR a gun, you're kind of married to it, and then it's not one you're going to readily sell. And I don't know. And when I'm not sure about something, I hold off. Some guns just look completely doofy. Like a Crink, an AKSU, if you don't SBR it, it's just bleh. This gun, though, to me, says the blind guy, with this cover over, considering this would be out to here anyway, is only not even 2 inches extended. And since this is alloy now, not steel, as I mentioned with the CNC, it just doesn't add a lot of length or weight. And I can always do it later. So I think for now I'm going to hold off for a bit, see how life goes, you know. But if you want to SBR it, and I do know they did sell a limited edition, I think 80 of them, the ARM12F from the factory, that were SBR. So that's always an option. But since I'm not an SOT, just a regular FFL01, I couldn't directly order one of those, so bleh. And I don't think I'd really want to. My luck, I'd get an SBR and it wouldn't run right. I actually had a friend do that. He ordered a SAM7K SBR and had issues. So that was special, trying to get that replaced. Don't get me wrong, Arsenal has made mistakes. See the previous SAM5 video. But this doesn't feel like one of them, at least not the gun I got. I should also mention, just like how I first got that SAM5, I bought this one from KVAR as a civilian, just, you know, consumer, because I wanted it when they came out. Now MSR's had a few of them. Now, this is touchy on YouTube, and I understand why, but price. I'm not going to give exact numbers because they change, and YouTube isn't really fond of that, but I will say that this is a custom shop gun. And I would say it has a custom shop price. And actually, after I picked this up in October, they had a further price hike in November. Wrong direction, Arsenal. No, bad Arsenal, bad. But at least I got it before that, I suppose. The problem is, it has the custom shop price, but even your standard like SAM7R or SAM7UF or SAM7SF aren't much cheaper than this by any amount. This is only about 10% more, and it's a custom shop gun. I don't think that says much about the custom shop pricing. I think it says more about the standard pricing. It's just way out of control. And that's a shame, because for years, Arsenal was one of those that kept their prices really within check. They really did. Not that they were a bargain, but they just didn't move their prices a whole lot. But in the last few years, they sure have. And that's making it hard to recommend these guns, guys. It really is. And that's a shame, because they are good guns. But there's better options hitting the market for less money. Zastava is really doing a great job of, you know, more or less entry level. WBP, you know, we're a fan of. Just had great luck out of them. The Polish Barils, yes, they're kind of going away now, but they were on the market for a few years. They were an option. And, of course, a lot of people like the Palmetto State guns now. KUSA was an option until they went under. But the one thing that Arsenal had, and still has going for it, the machined receiver. They're really the only import right now that comes on a factory mil-spec machined receiver. Now, allegedly, the WBP jack with a milled receiver is coming back. And I really like WBP. And Fox has had great luck out of his mini jack milled. But I don't know how military spec that receiver is. It's probably very high quality, but this is military, and there's something to be said for that. But all your other previous milds, like Valmet's out of Finland, your Polytechs and Orinkos out of China, they're gone. I mean, I guess there are still the Galil Aces, the Aces out of Israel, IWI, but now they're into their Gen 2s, and man, I'm just not a fan of the Gen 2. But it could just be me. But if you're wanting a milled gun, especially an import, Arsenal's still kind of the only game in town. We've been working with various Arsenal waffle mags, but let's try just kind of a random surplus steel. I mean, should fit and function fine, but you never know. Now I'm going to try it with the steel mag. Why not? Enjoy this trigger. Yep, no problems. I didn't expect there to be. It fits fine. No excessive play anyway. I mean, AK mags aren't meant to fit rock solid. That's not how the design is. But as I said at the beginning, Fox did not get a chance to shoot it last time. Various scheduling difficulties around the holidays. But we did get a chance to let him run a little bit through it today. Now we'll let Fox try the SAM7SFC.
What a great shooter. It's almost just as, maybe if not smoother than the 223-556.
Yeah. Yeah, he seemed to like it. Interestingly, this tube stock, is really a love it or hate it thing. I think a lot of people read that it's a NATO length on an AK and think it's going to be too long. And I tell them, look, I'm not a tall person, and I find it perfectly comfortable. So, you know, now this block back here gets criticized on the arsenal folding mechanism, and I get it. I don't like hanging things off in the back either. But, you know, it's not as bad as it seems. It really doesn't make the gun any longer. And there's kind of an internal mechanical reason why. So the stock block, this is actually a piece that's grafted onto the receiver at the factory. It's also machined. And one reason it has to be as long as it is because of the cavity that the stock itself locks into. About a half-inch deep, maybe a little more. That's for the mechanism here, the button. And notice how close the edge of the button is to the sling swivel. In fact, when the swivel's in the horizontal, it's almost touching it. So that block is there to allow space inside for the latch, spring, hinge, and all that back up in there. The sling swivel, the inside part of it is right at the edge of there. And then forward of that is the hole for the screw for the pistol grip, and then the safety. And because of having that left side style selector, we also have a piece of it that moves on the side there that takes up space. Some overall point is room. The selector and the swivel go right to here. Therefore, to have room for the stock mechanism, it needs to be pushed further back. And of course, they also do it to give a longer length of pull in the first place. As for adding length to the gun, it really doesn't. It's a bit of an optical illusion because the ARM9 pistol grip has such a cant back to it that it's almost flush with the edge of the grip here. So even if this block were further forward, your grip would be sticking out and the overall length would not change. In fact, they're so close you can do this. You can actually rest the gun using the grip and the back of the receiver. Now it's not perfectly flush, but it's close. You can actually tip it back, and there it is, perfectly resting on the rear, and that's how much space it adds. That much. Not even quite an inch, but thumb size there to the overall length. Yeah. So like I said, it's more or less an optical illusion. It really does not add several inches to the overall length of your gun. Also keep in mind this is built to a military standard, so it needs to be tough, sturdy. Not something that soldiers can easily break. Because that's a universal thing for soldiers all around the world. If it can be broken, it will be broken. It's Murphy's Law in military terms. Yeah. I actually like this stock. Again, I think it gets a little bit of a bad rap online because it does look a little funky, but it is functional. Fox back with the SFC.
Dude, really do like the way this gun shoots. I like that metal stock as well. It seems to get the job done without being too punchy, you know.
Yeah, it's got a very thin rubber butt plate on it.
It does. I was just asking, is that a rubber butt plate? And it is.
Yep.
But that and it, the way your cheek sets into it, it's not annoying. You know, sometimes with these, even the wire stocks and stuff, they're just a little too thin. But this one, yeah, it seems to work and has minimal weight.
Yeah,
I like that. And I do like the flat bottom hand guard. Didn't know how I'd feel about that, but I do like that flat part. It seems like your hand does fit pretty comfortable. You know, it's not rounded off, more of a flat style. So
yeah, and that gun, while it's not the lightest, I find that it's very well balanced. Like,
it's very well balanced. Yeah,
it's not
there's
front
something
heavy, back heavy.
Yeah, there's something about that trigger too that it works well with its front balance and rear balance. I don't know if that makes sense, but it complements it one another. You're not riding a trigger, you know, it's a smoother kind of lightweight trigger, so it matches the gun real well.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy I got this back out. I did like it the first go round, but things like the trigger I didn't pick up on as much that time. I really do think this is a nice trigger. I'm kind of mixed on these quote-unquote FIME enhanced triggers. I still really like the traditional machined double hooks from Bulgarian, but they did a good job with this. This and the bolt throw what really make this seem like a custom shop gun to me. Now, I know some people have reported that they picked up these and their fit and finish wasn't up to snuff. All I can say is this is mine. The fit and finish are fine to me. Then again, I kind of buy more military style guns. There it is. Sometimes our expectations and all that are different. But yeah, I really do like having this aluminum faux out here. Would it be cool to SBR this? Absolutely. And do I think I'm going to hang on to this gun for a while? Yes. But if you SBR something, you're married to it. And I'm just not quite to that point yet, and you're not saving a whole lot, because I'm not going to run this bare muzzle. I'm going to have something on the end, probably a shortened version of exactly this. So, do I really want to do that to save a couple of inches? Now, of course, that would give me an actual working expansion chamber and flash hider, so that might be good. Didn't notice recoil being bad on this, but I did notice the sound and all that. I mean, it's, and I would imagine the flash is something to behold as well. So we did one video shooting more or less at dusk there for you. But yeah, most of this trip out here for the holiday season was cloudy, kind of rainy, dreary weather. We've had, I think, 2 days, including today, maybe 3 total in 2 weeks of good weather. So it just was great fortune that Fox was able to join us for one of them. Just kind of sucks that this time of year the sun goes down so quick. But what do you think? Am I crazy for really liking this gun? Which is your favorite size? The 16-inch pattern, the 12.5, or maybe you like the short crinkies, you know, the 8, 8.5 style. Either way, it was a lot of fun to shoot, and at the end of the day, that's kind of what we're here for, right, guys? Fun, enjoyment, time with friends and family. Anyway, love to hear your takes in the comments below. With that, I'm going to go in, start cleaning guns, eat a bite. And if you could, please do like, share, and subscribe. Like to help us out on Patreon, that's a dealio. And if you haven't seen all of our Arsenal videos, and there are a lot of them, yeah, search the channel, check them out. Because we've covered most of the versions they've done throughout the years. All the way back to the SA93, up through, guns that just came out like this. This is Misha, and also on behalf of Fox, we will both catch you very soon.